City of Stevens Point Downtown Business Improvement District Board Meeting, recorded December 5, 2023.
Give me a rundown because I don't have a shot of this. First item on the agenda.
Yep, so first is roll. I can go ahead and call that. Tara Mansky.
Here.
Is here. Hannah Cutler.
Here.
Mike Beacom.
Here.
Bob Butt is absent. Brian Cummins.
Here.
Rosalind Keller.
Here.
And Alderperson Christensen.
Here.
We have a quorum. Let us begin.
Very good. I did not get an agenda, so can you help guide me through the list here?
Yep, sure thing. Hannah's still sending it over, but so the second item on the agenda is comments from the public on agenda and non-agenda items.
Okay. Do we have anybody with us from the public?
Not in person, but we do have Alder Shuda online as well, right now as well. So Alder Shuda, did you have any comments that you wanted to make known?
Nope. Just gonna listen in. Thank you.
Very good. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
So if we have nobody from the public looking to comment, we can move on to item number 3.
Great. So I'll take us away on work group and committee reports to begin with. I believe, Chair, you were included in the chain, but regarding the Community Foundation Special Projects Fund, we did inform the Community Foundation staff that we would be moving forward with establishing the Special Projects Fund for downtown, the Downtown Enhancement Fund. Also, Bob Butt is joining us now, just so you know. And the response from Community Foundation staff was that given elections will be taking place in January for both the Stevens Point Alliance and the Business Improvement District Board of Directors, and we'll have a staff person onboarded on January 2nd. So wait until those elections take place and that staff person is on board to establish the fund, so that way we don't need to transition any main contacts over and we can just start fresh. That's the only thing to state for the Community Foundation funds. Regarding city staff updates, we do have quite a few. Obviously, as mentioned in the last report, Chloe Cruiser has formally accepted the position of downtown manager and will begin January 2nd, 2024. Congratulations, you hired your first staff person.
Woohoo!
Which means that we'll start transitioning into onboarding, and she will then take over and be responsible to you all. We started putting together our onboarding plan this week, all the content that we need to cover, and pretty confident that we'll be sending Chloe off with a strong start. We will be meeting with the CVB staff next week to ensure that all of our bases are covered for orientation for Chloe. As a reminder, again, alluded to in the previous update or report, elections for this body will take place next month's meeting. We have on our calendar January 2nd, 2024 as the meeting for this day. So enjoy your New Year's, but come back ready to roll. Downtown target area planning. We have contracted with Vanderwall to pick up that process and get that carried to the finish. Director Karnowski sent out the first stakeholder meeting invitations. Was that sent to members of this body? Did you all receive an invitation for that? It would be on December 14th. If not, we will anticipate there being inclusion of this body in a lot of different ways throughout that process, but it might not have been in the first stakeholder meeting. But December 14th will be the first day of meetings. I'm not sure if you all received that invitation.
I did.
Not sure.
You were an alderperson for the area though, so you're a little special.
I did. And I'm assuming the city will will make announcements if there's a quorum issue.
Yep.
I won't be
there. We expect that process to take several months, but we are looking forward to a pretty strong joint effort from the city staff departments and looking forward to your participation in the process. and helping ensure a high quality product for downtown. City staff did meet last week with Hunden Partners. We believe several members of this body were in attendance for their site visit last week, and we are expecting a follow-up call on Thursday with their staff to go over the rest of the timeline and procedure for them. It should be about a 7-week process before we hear some initial reports back, and then we'll start getting into the financials, into the pro formas. So around Valentine's Day, we'll start talking about numbers. Hunden Partners is our the contractor that the city of Stevens Point, Mid-State Technical College, and the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau hired to perform a feasibility study in the conference center downtown.
That was the meeting.
Yes, but I didn't know what he was talking about because, okay, gotcha.
Are there any questions about the downtown target area master plan or the conference center feasibility study?
It was fun. It was a fun meeting to be in. It was interesting to hear what everybody had to say and the questions that they were asking just in regards to downtown and just in Stevens Point in general. So it was fun.
Is there a video?
There is not a video of that session. So full context on that planning day. We started that meeting off with the project partners. So that was Ryan, myself, and the mayor from some city staff, the Mid-State Technical College team, and the Stevens Point Area Convention Visitors Bureau, 2 of their staff. So we had a brief conversation about goals and objectives and what our vision is, or hope for is, and for them to get more information about where the market gaps are. Following that was the meeting that you were all included in, the stakeholders meeting. And then following that meeting was another session with demand drivers, so hoteliers in the area and large event producers in the community. Following that, we took them for a tour around the city through all of the different major event hosting sites and some of the new hotels and what's been planned for in the area. So we look forward to their work. Hunden Partners has assisted other Stevens Point area projects in the past, in the recent past, so they're familiar with the market. Their staff is really excited to start working with us. And yeah, no other content besides that. We're looking forward to a high quality product from them.
Their portfolio is incredible. When you look at the different projects they've been involved in, holy fright.
I
Yeah.
mean, both of the great people seemed like they were really young and real smart. I mean, and go-getters, they seemed great.
Yeah,
That's why I get along with them so well, because opposites attract. I'm holding them. Jeez, perfect.
if there are no other questions about the site visit or the expectations moving forward, we can keep going on with reports. Still on city staff, just a reminder that the resource team visit scheduled for February 5th through 7th.
From Main Street.
For Main Street,
Yeah.
yes. So the Main Street resource team visit is scheduled for that week of February. Aaron Welty asked me for a few quick date and time selections from you all. Just to make this quick, as we don't need necessarily action on it, but we do need to know your preference for this group meeting on February 6th, either morning, noon, or evening / end of day. So I just want a quick decision from you all on that time of day on the 6th.
Tuesday the 6th.
Tuesday the 6th,
That's normally when we have bid, right?
normally.
Yeah, I would say the same time would be great.
Yes.
Ish.
So 2:30 to 4:30.
All right, I will let Aaron know that's your preference. We'll just handle that at the same time as your regular scheduled meeting. The other question for date and time is final presentation. They will put together something quickly after the 6th and wanted to know when you all and the most people within the downtown, most of the partners, members, et cetera, would be available to view a presentation. She gave us the options of, again, morning, noon, evening. I would assume evening, but I just wanted to check with you all. Evening on the 7th would be the most preferable for a presentation
Wednesday.
Makes sense.
on Wednesday, February 7th.
Works for me. I'll be out of town.
Works for me.
Cayman Brock. Sorry.
Enjoy. All right, I'll let her know, the afternoon for session with you all and then evening for final presentation on the 7th. And then lastly, from Main Street, we're excited to have the opportunity to host a first impressions event from the WEDC. The WEDC Main Street team does this first impressions event to gauge how other people might perceive what, or like, I guess, set their expectations for what downtown Stevens Point is and has to offer. And then they bring all those folks into downtown Stevens Point and they get to judge the community based on what their expectations are. So one, I wanted to offer this up to you all. You don't have to say yes to it, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and you're missing out on a lot if you weren't going to get some honest feedback from other downtown or other Main Street communities. If you all would like to, then we also need to set a date in June for that meeting. So we don't need to set that right now exactly, but if we want to, we can go ahead and set it.
That doesn't sound anything like we wouldn't want to do it, right? I mean, it
So it's
sounds
like
great.
a focus team that comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chris, can you set something in the January agenda for us to set a date to take action to do that if this group wants to move forward with that?
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. I'll include that as a January action item.
Very good. Is that it for staff updates?
That exhausts my end of that.
All right. I just want to piggyback on that. Offer to the hiring process. Thank everybody on the bid for last week. You know, I know that required a lot of your time. And so very much appreciate that. I do feel like this is the biggest step we'll probably take in this process to get somebody launched. There's a lot to do. And so the onboarding piece is important. We'll all play a role in that. But I also think we want to kind of just make sure that it's realistic and that Chloe is not taking on too much immediately to really help her launch. And certainly, in addition to that, I want to thank Rosalind. Rosalind sat in on all pieces to represent the bid. You know, and we had really good candidates. We had more applicants for the downtown manager than I think we anticipated. And we had a strong first round of interviews and ultimately we feel like we had a strong candidate. So thank you for that. Thanks to our partners also, SBA, you know, CVB, having Taylor there, and the city invested a lot of time to really help us through this process. So I just wanted to offer that. We can move into the next steps. Downtown MOU, do we have an update for that?
The Stevens Point Alliance should be meeting next week and reporting any changes to the MOU as written. Otherwise, we're kind of on hold until we have any changes from them, and we'll get that signed as we close the year.
Be nice to get a lot of things wrapped up by the end of 2023.
Agreed.
I'm still waiting
Oh.
for the Alliance.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's nothing for that, we can move into our work groups, main 5. I'm not sure that we have a ton of updates here. Bathrooms, I don't think we have anything to offer on that. Anything on branding?
No.
No,
Right?
nothing from branding.
Okay. On the lighting side, I know that Chris followed up with the mayor, and so there are some steps there working with the city on that piece. Chris, do you want to offer the details on that?
Yep, so the lighting improvements that this group had recommended or wanted to pursue, following the, I guess, offer from the mayor on a $2,500 contribution and looking for that match. Thank you to you all for approving that expense. The Public Works Department should be making those purchases after Christmas and installing shortly thereafter. So we should look forward to the lights being installed in January.
Very good. We don't have anything assigned to outdoor support. Tara, anything volunteer database?
I have, no, not at this time.
Okay.
I do have something on that because we
Okay.
kind of started this conversation with Sean Williams and the Stevens Point Alliance is related to volunteer database and volunteer support. We do have some traction with UWSP IT capstone student for developing the door has to
Can't
sit
shut
open.
it.
Oh, okay.
So for establishing the vacant properties map and database, and there might be some crossover for how we use that for volunteering too. That project, separate, should be executed by the end of the spring semester.
Very good. Just a question related to that and also to, I guess, our listserv. For yourself, Chloe will be using that, both contacting businesses and volunteers. Do we need to develop some sort of policy across not just the bid, but our partners on how those lists should be shared and used so we're not kind of overhitting the same audience? Any thoughts on that?
What do you mean exactly, I guess?
Well, sometimes, I mean, you know, you become numb to things. So if I get a ton of emails, we build a list of businesses and property owners downtown. You want to make sure that when you send to that, you know, that they see it and it's read. It's not just glossed over because we hit it too often. Same thing for volunteers. So I do feel like you want to be protective of those lists when you build them because they're very valuable. We don't want everybody hitting that list, so it should only be, you know, probably used by the downtown manager. And if we're sharing things with SBA, we don't want them to hit that every 5 days or even our manager, because then eventually people opt out, they put it in spam, it doesn't reach the audience.
And I think, yes, you're right. I think that this is looked at, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, more as a database. Yes, we have like the overall list of people who are interested in volunteering, but we're also looking at making this more of a program.
Mhm.
And so the contact that we have with these individuals will be very intentional. And unless, I don't know, we're not reaching and we're not, I don't know. I don't see this as like a general list. I see this more as a very intentional list of individuals who have indicated they want to help. They're part of our volunteer program where they're notified of very specific things and they're involved in very specific things, and we keep in touch on a regular basis, that sort of a thing.
And I think that that's the policy. And so at some point when we're not in this position a decade from now, I wouldn't want that list to be marketed to because it's Wine Walk and hey, come on down for
Right.
Wine Walk. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
So maybe just saying when we have, because those are probably two of our most valuable assets,
Sure.
some guidance on when we reach out to property owners and building owners and when we reach out to volunteers. So it's clear to anybody that has access that this is not just a group of people we can market to. This is for this specific purpose.
So I have nothing to correct, but I think y'all are in agreement on
Yeah.
the same space.
Yeah.
One thing that I just want to throw out to you all, I think there's a volunteer recruitment and I guess volunteer policy training that the WEDC Main Street team should be hosting in January. I'll make sure that you all get the invitation for that one, if I haven't already sent it. It was just discussed yesterday at the downtown directors monthly meeting, so it hasn't been scheduled, I don't think, but I'll follow up. I think that'll be really helpful for you all if you want to set a volunteer policy.
Yeah.
And plan procedures, et cetera.
Very good. Well, let's move into the discussion and possible action items in this agenda. First one, approving meeting minutes from November 7th, 2023. Has everybody had a chance to review those? And if so, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the November 7th meeting minutes.
Okay. Sounds like Hannah. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second by Brian, motion by Hannah, second by Brian. If no other discussion, all those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. Next item, resource team pre-visit survey. Chris, do you want to talk about this?
Yep, so I want to reiterate Chair Beacon's gratitude for you all and how much time you had invested in the hiring process, but I'm going to request a little bit of extra time and assistance from one of you going through the rest of December. Prior to the resource team visit, the WEDC Main Street team recommends compiling or creating a survey to prepare for the resource team visit. And they would like to have all of that information sort of tabulated and ready before, I guess, by January 29th. So in order to maximize the visit, we do have some content to go off of for them to plan for the, that we received from the annual town hall. But they would like some assistance in drafting a survey to send to all of our downtown contacts to make sure that they're fully addressing things within the four pillars of downtown's economic vitality, marketing and promotions, design, and volunteer capabilities. So I would recommend that the Downtown Business Improvement District assign one board member to coordinate survey design with the WEDC team. I would normally recommend that your downtown manager handle that. If they don't start until January, I'll give them like 2 days in the middle of orientation. So if there would be one person who'd be willing to volunteer, I would really appreciate that.
So we have a staff recommendation. Any questions on this? Is anybody interested in stepping up?
I just have a question. So what you're saying is they just want more information. They just need somebody to work with them to make the.
Yeah. So I would anticipate probably 3 to 4 hours a week for the next couple of weeks through the end of the year in order to get that done.
So I'll be gone for a week. So I mean, I would be willing to help, but I don't think that's not helpful if I'm gone.
I can do it. I can do it.
All right. So Mark is willing to step up for that one. Appreciate that, Mark. If anybody's interested in helping, Mark will be our lead for that. Anybody else, questions, chime in there?
If you need help, I'll help.
If you need help, I'll help also.
Just crafting a survey.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got this.
Been there.
Very good. Mark, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Chris, anything else on this item?
It's a nice slow time of year anyway.
I don't want to cut into your coffee time, but no, we appreciate that, Mark.
If anything, I would just give you some guidance to use what you already know from the town hall to help you with that survey.
Very good.
Now, just for some guidance that would be helpful for me from this group, some things have changed since the town hall. When we're taking a look at the redevelopment of the Shopko site and the potential convention center, do you think those items would be legitimate items to include in a survey, something in connection with those?
I would think, I mean, they both are very, very important things that are gonna be happening downtown. So yeah, I would say they should be thrown in there, but not maximum. I mean, like, I think we gotta be careful too.
Right.
I don't think it needs to necessarily result in any changes to your survey questions, but maybe just give the WEDC some context to developments that are happening.
The one thing I would ask then is think about things that you think would be, if there's anything that you feel should be, because they're when are they going to be working on this? I mean, when do they want it by?
They want the results to be a week before the.
They want the results of the survey by then.
So survey should be done by January 2nd meeting and ready to be
Right.
distributed.
Right. Okay. I'll probably, I'll send something out to the group prior to the January 2nd meeting, so we can, if there's things that you think need to be changed or other things you think could be included, then we can discuss those at January 2nd. We can kind of finalize things there and then move ahead.
Yeah, I'd be prepared to approve and disseminate that
Yes,
January 2nd.
as I said, yeah. We'll finalize it.
Okay, very good. So last item, the city has some sand and salt bins at different places throughout the community. It was brought up recently that some of these could be added to the downtown area where downtown businesses and property owners could grab sand or salt for their sidewalks. And so this would not be a 2023-24 winter thing, probably looking at next year, but something that wanted to bring to this group if there was interest. My understanding, and I think our understanding with Chris too, because he was part of that conversation, is there would not be a cost to the bid for this. I'm guessing they would look for some input on where those could be placed and if it's something that downtown would welcome. Chris, anything to add on that?
No, I'm gonna just backpedal on the cost situation. We weren't provided that information. The only thing that we were provided, so I included a memo in your packets, like the very end of your packets, that Mark Cordes had offered us to start negotiating I guess acquisition of a sand salt mixture bin for downtown Stevens Point. So if this body would like to pursue one of those for downtown, I can think that in lieu of full snow clearance is a sand salt mixture available downtown would be beneficial to the downtown business owners and residents. So we can take action to make a request for that sand salt bin, and then Mark Cordes will work with you all to figure out the details. That's all.
Any idea of cost on that?
I don't have an idea of cost on that. It's typically a public good,
Right.
so it's not something that usually comes at cost of the
Right.
residents nearby.
I thought years and years ago they did.
No cost associated with it.
No, they had them.
They do have them out in the community, so
I
there's
know,
currently
but I thought
three,
years
but-
ago downtown, there were one or two, one at the beginning of Main Street and one somewhere else.
You remember exactly where those were, Bob?
I want to say one near Shopko,
Okay.
near the bus terminal. I thought there was one there. And then I thought somewhere near the square, there was another one.
Okay.
Those are the
That
two-
would have been 20 years ago.
Yeah. Those are the
So-
two locations that Mark and I would possibly recommend. The one caveat being with the inclusion of the ice rink on the square, whether or not y'all want to have sand salt available.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Next
bad
slide.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing.
That's why I was kind of
With the skating rink.
thinking going the other way and having one on the north side, one on the south side, one.
No, I'm saying don't put sand and salt next to the ice rink because someone's.
No, that's, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm saying not on the east and west ends of downtown. Instead,
Oh.
going the central part, but one more behind the stores.
library.
Towards like the library and behind Opera House or something like that.
I mean, geez, sweet.
I do think it would be welcome for the downtown. I think a lot of business operators would appreciate it.
Then maybe we should have second thoughts. No, just kidding.
Mhm.
Right. Well, if this body wants to take motion or make a motion to proceed with that, I'll happily make that connection with y'all and have Mark Cordes usher that through.
Okay, is anybody interested in putting up a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Bob Butt motions.
I'll second.
Okay,
Tara,
is that
second.
Tara that second? Okay,
Yep.
so motion from Bob, second from Tara. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so Chris, you'll have Mark connect us with some details for maybe next month or near future?
Yep.
Very good. Okay, well, that I believe exhausts our agenda for today. Next meeting is going to be the 2nd, this same time afternoon. And at that point, we should have a downtown manager to join us. So appreciate everybody's time today. This meeting is adjourned.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.